I can play guitar like that. Well, hello, good evening, everybody. If you notice, Bilbrey, so I'm having to do another show. Whether you guys like it or not, please hit that like button down there. I know you'll like the show. Everybody likes Bilbrey's show. I'm gonna give an update on Bilbrey right now. So Brandon come on last night and said that he was, Buffalo Bill in the basement or something or similar to that. I have since found out that I believe that Kristopher has went on a canoeing trip with Sheriff Sproles down on the Chattahoochee River. It's right on the Georgia-South Carolina line. Oh, jack off, Jack. I'm not a bootlicker, bro. You're licking the boots. But anyhow, I think he's on that river down there in northern Georgia. It's in Rabun County, northeastern Georgia. Does anybody know anything about that? About a canoeing trip or anything? Anybody? I'm waiting. Anybody? You want me to say squeal like a pig? Will that help anybody out? Ned Beatty? Anybody know who Ned Beatty or Burt Reynolds is? I think Bilbrey's squealing like a pig. But anyhow, we don't know exactly where he's at, but I think he'll be back in a few days. So we'll get on to this. But if anybody spots Bilbrey, please, 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 if you spot him anywhere, take his picture and send it in to us. That's right, Joey Deliverance. Very much so. So tonight's agenda, we've got a few things to clean up on. This is all Bastards of Politics Network. Be sure you check out all the other shows. You've got, I think, a new feed come down with Civic Duty today. I don't know 100%. Is that right, Kate? Did they come down with a new Civic Duty thing today? So, yeah, there's a new Civic Duty show today. Check it out. Josh be happy to have you watch it. Brandon, like I said, he was on here last night. He did a really good job. So we're going to get in tonight with some business here. Make sure you hit that like button. I got a couple different things I want to talk about. I just got done at the city council meeting. We'll just start off with it. Let me find my notes here. I'm not too good at doing this, guys, yet, so please bear with me. And now I've got the other side up. Kate, you didn't tell me to get my glasses. So, and I'm going to go, Kid Rock, I'm going to go check the boobs out on the slide at Thomas Park just as soon as we're done here. I'll go down and take some pictures of it. But tonight at the city council meeting, Rose Selvey, they have a monthly recognition of citizens and things like that. And it was a little different this evening. Miss Selvey recognized the Muncie Police Department and the Muncie Fire Department for their outstanding work on the July 30th mass shooting. There was quite a few officers and firemen and EMS personnel that was at the meeting tonight. And I want to go on record once again and say, and I want people to understand that I back the police department and I back the fire department and fire base EMS 100%. If they are in the right, I will back them 100%. Now, as far as the administration, that would be the, people in charge of the police officers. Maybe I have some complaints about the way they're doing their job, but that reflects nothing on the police officers in the cars out on duty protecting the city of Muncie. It does not have anything to do with the firemen that are on the fire trucks. I respect all these guys and ladies 100%, 100,000%. Fire base EMS, I 100%, 100,000% back those people too. And if that makes me a bootlicker, then lick it up, right? So we're going to lick it up anyhow. Miss Selvey did a wonderful job by presenting that. There, like I said, there was a lot of firemen and police personnel there and fire base EMS personnel there. And I want to thank every one of them that was involved. I'd like to thank all the local departments that came in and helped. And I know they missed a couple, but I think about all of the small town marshals or somebody from most of the small towns. Jack, they are doing their jobs. I agree, they are doing their jobs, but sometimes those police officers can go over and above their SOPs and do their job more than what's expected of them. So you can call me a Nazi, whatever. They are doing their jobs. They understand what their jobs are, but they can still go over and above what their job description is. So anytime you're being shot at or you go into a hostile situation where there's a mass shooting and you're running in as everybody else is running in out, that makes them people just a little bit better than everybody else. So everyone, Audie and I worked out an issue. Yeah, I can see the comments now. But yes, that is, it takes courage. I was a volunteer fireman for 7 years out in Selma, and it takes courage for a man or a woman to run into a burning building while everybody else is running out. You don't know if that building's going to explode. We had a building fire. Smoke them if you got them, guys. We had a building fire at Prairie Creek Reservoir when we had 2 firemen inside. They was putting out the fire. The building collapsed on them. The walls just gave out. The roof came in. Bam, caved in on them. This was back 25 years ago. And a couple of us actually lifted the rafter system up off them guys and pulled them out. They're volunteers. So be it. They're volunteers. I know that. But they're going over and above humanity. So with that being said, I'm fine with you calling me a bootlicker. So that's cool. But I'm good with that. I do want to announce that the mayor nor the deputy mayor was at the city council meeting tonight. Once again, no mayor, no deputy mayor. Last month, I asked Mr. Clark, or I asked the council for a list of abatement applications. Mr. Clark spoke up at the meeting last month, said he would send it to me. Never did receive anything. I mentioned it tonight at the council meeting. He said he would email it to me. Well, he emailed me something, but there's no attachments involved. So I'm still trying to get the abatement lists. If anybody knows an attorney or a clergy or a accountant, they are needing an accountant or something for the ethics committee. So if anybody has any names of anybody, I know it's a volunteer job and most of them accountants are pretty busy, but you might let them know and have them put their name in with the city council. I was on the Liberty Township, Joey. Yes, Liberty Township Volunteer Fire Department in Selma, Indiana. Beech Grove has an appointment coming next month for Lisa Meir. Lisa Meir is sick and she's resigning her position. She's been on there for quite a while. And when I say quite a while, I mean many, many, many years. So, so on and so forth. And then they've got an appointment to the Human Rights Board. If anybody lives in the city of Muncie that wants to be on the Human Rights Board or the Beech Grove Cemetery, please get a hold of the city council. They're looking for nominees for that. There was an ordinance. It was pretty remedial tonight at the city council meeting. There was a guy looking in there for a 5-year abatement and was asking for a fast response, and they voted for the ordinance for introduction. He's a roofing company. He's out there by the old Marhofer. He's getting ready to build a new building there, and he was wanting a 5-year abatement, but the council explained to him that it's going to take him 3 or 4 months, so they couldn't expedite that because he's got other paperwork he's got to fill out. Like I said, it was pretty much uneventful. There was some things brought up about the recreation center for the children that's been going on for quite a few years. One of the councils from years past had promised if they allow it to be tore down that they would build a new one. Well, I guess the money got spent on somebody at something else. And this is back 10, 12, 15 years ago when this all started. So I don't exactly know which mayor it was under, but I can do some research on that and hopefully find that out. There was a resolution for the environmental claim, the Muncie environmental claim action plan. You got to understand, resolutions are just something that they adopt. It's not a law or anything, and we all know that. And so Audie is a guest hosting, yeah. So yeah, on a resolution, they just adopt the concept of it. And I spoke up during that. I might not should have on that part, but I should have waited. But I was at the dump a few weeks ago. I took some stuff. Well, it's been a couple months ago after I remodeled my kitchen. I had to take some stuff out there and dump it. Well, they've got these blue recycle bags in the city of Muncie. And I'd noticed mixed in all the other garbage that these recycle bags were getting all pushed up into a big pile and sent on off to the trash. I don't know exactly where they do the pull those bags out to open them up and do the recycling, but you know, I think I'm speaking a little too fast tonight. But Mr. Donati told me I was wrong. I'm not wrong. I've seen it with my own eyes. Matter of fact, he's trying to call me right now. I'll just send him a message. Can I call you later? So, but I invited all the council members to go out there and that's right, Diane. Resolutions are useless and they amount to nothing unless somebody, and they said it was something that they had to adopt and order to get federal money and so on and so forth. Maybe I'm speaking a little too fast tonight, but I got a few other things I want to talk about. At the council meeting, there was a resolution 1023. The Mitts Bus Company is wanting to give the city of Muncie a bus for training purposes. That passed 9-0. And what that is usually within a city, you can give buses and stuff to each other. But since Mitts Bus is on a separate tax roll than the city of Muncie, they had to adopt the resolution for them to accept it. I know when I was a volunteer fireman out in Selma, we had a fire truck that was getting pretty old, and we had replaced it. And the older fire truck, we donated it. Well, we sold it to another volunteer fire department in Tennessee. Took it and delivered it to them for $1. So there's ways that happens, and that's what needs to happen. So I'm getting all kinds of phone calls tonight for some reason. But anyhow, let me see what this one wants. Let me text him and see what he wants. I do have some records requests in for the street work that was done on Madison Street, and let me do this real quick. I did a request for materials maintenance list and equipment list and personnel list and stuff like that for the amount of money they spent on South Madison Street. It's been about a little over 2 weeks. I finally received a letter back from them today stating that they had to get a hold of Adam, and Adam finally turned the paperwork in so I can go pick them records requests up tomorrow. I may have to get my wife to go over and pick them up or whatever, but we're going to have those. You should. What's that mean, brother? Hold on a minute. Let's see what's going on here. I got to play a Bilbrey here. Hold on 1 second. I got to make a phone call. How can everybody give me? Can I make a phone call? Is everybody okay with it? I'm just gonna make a phone call here. I don't have nothing to hide. I'm doing a Bilbrey live. Chris is 513. That's a couple houses down, so that's not me. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, hey, Darla, you might turn your scanner on. They got a subject shooting at cats at 513 West 11th. So that's just a couple houses down from my house. My brother called and wanted to know if I was shooting at cats. No, I don't shoot at animals. So somebody's out there shooting at cats. Good thing I'm live on live, because they may try to come arrest me for it. But anyhow, let's see what we want to talk about. Okay, we've got Jeff Robinson. He's running for mayor for the city of Muncie. Kate, it's a good idea. Hey guys, this is a smoking video, so if you want to smoke, have at it. And I'll say what Kate says. I don't give two fucks. Smoke them if you want them. I got a smile out of you. But anyhow, always breaking news on Bilbrey. Always breaking news on Bilbrey Live. Okay, Jeff Robinson. He's running for mayor. He's a Democrat, and he's for the people. Hi. You got yours? So I've asked him a couple different times how he was going to appoint the police chief and the fire chief and things like that. And his ideal is a really good ideal. He is going to take a pool of police officers and a pool of firemen, and he's going to dwindle it down to 3 people, okay, on each side. So he's going to have 3 police officers, and he's going to have 3 fire chiefs. This may be breaking news. I don't know. But this is what Mr. Robinson told me. He's out of them 3 candidates that he's going to pick. He's going to let the Muncie police officers, and he's going to let cigarettes make you choke. Yeah, smoke till your ass falls off. He's going to have 3 candidates for police chief, and he's going to have 3 candidates for fire chief. And out of them 3 people, the makeup of the body of the police department and the fire department are going to pick their own chiefs out of them 3 people. So it's going to be a pretty fair process of doing it. He's going to put it back toward the people in the fire department and the people of the police department. That way, hopefully, the morale will pick up, because, like I said, the morale of the Muncie Police Department right now is way low. I feel, my personal opinion, I feel that the police chief right now has clipped these police officers' handcuffs. I guess I could say wings, but he's clipped their handcuffs to where they're not allowed to do much of anything. There's no radar detectors in the police cars anymore, and they're worried about the liability of about everything. Stumblefoot. That's the reason it's the morale is low, because they're not allowed to be police officers. They're not allowed to get involved with police chases. If the state police is involved in a police chase in the city of Muncie, they're not allowed to initiate unless it's a felony or something similar to that. But they had one the other night. I don't. Cops are not all bad. No, I have to delete laws. I'll have to disagree with you. 99% of the cops are good people. You get 1% that makes the whole police department look bad, and you get that in every job situation you're in. It's just the way it is. People's going to be people, and they're going to try to get away with what they can get away with and what they can't. And that's my personal opinion. So, and like I said the other night, I am not suicidal. I'm not suicidal by cop. I want everybody to be aware of that. See, Kate, this is maybe one of them nights that we may not go very long, but we're going to try to stretch it out. Tonight at 6 o'clock, I was at the Can Pack in Muncie. They're trying to get a union there. They're trying to get a union in there, and they've got people in there union busting. They've got people. Got something popping up here. Give me just a second. They got people that's for the union. They've fired 2 people because they took excessive breaks during the heat time, but they were told they were allowed to. So they picked them 2 people out, fired them. They had another guy that got injured on the 4th of July. He blew 2 fingers and a thumb off with fireworks, and blew 2 fingers off with fireworks. And they pretty much fired him, told him, said, "We don't need you no more." So instead of letting him be on medical leave until he got better, till his hand healed up to where he could work, they just fired him. And that's not right. That's not fair. But he was a strong supporter of the union, so they fired him over that. We was out there. They're supposed to be voting on that. So if you guys get a chance, maybe drive out by Can Pack, support their attempts to get the union in there, because that's their choice. If they want it in there, they should be allowed to have it in there. And the company's fighting them to keep it out, and doing stuff that is, illegal for them to do when there's a union involved. So I'll talk a little bit about myself tonight. I was born in Muncie at Ball Hospital, October 10th, 1970. I've lived here all my life. I was in a lot of people don't realize this, but I was in 1989, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was discharged on a basic administrative discharge, which means I did not complete boot camp, because when I went in, I was flat-footed. And when we humped through the Pacific Ocean out at MCRD San Diego and Camp Pendleton down there, we had to wear our full packs and full outfit and boots and everything, and we'd hump along the Pacific Ocean. I got a problem with my feet. My feet fell apart on me, and they discharged me. So I've got just a basic administrative discharge. A lot of people don't know that. So most of you people are the first ones to hear that. I don't even think I'd even told Chris that. So that's breaking news for you too. So 1989, I got out of the Marine Corps. I came home. 1990, I had a kid with my first wife. 5 years later, we had our daughter. 6 days after giving birth to my daughter, my wife passed away for complications of pregnancy. Took me several years to get involved with another woman. I was married to another woman for a while, and that just didn't work out. And now I'm married to Darla. Darla is a wonderful woman. I've been with her since 2009. We got married in 2011. So we've been married for quite a few years. Is that right, Darla? See if she remembers. Can you put on there if that's right, Darla? That's correct. She said, she hollered, that's correct. So we've been together. We've been married since 2011. 22 of 11 is when we got married. So if you guys want to wish us a happy anniversary in November, that's Kennedy Day. If a lot of you don't realize what date that is, but that's the anniversary of John F. Kennedy being assassinated, which Chris Bilbrey was in the grassy knoll that morning. A lot of you have heard him talk about it. He was the second shooter in the grassy knoll that morning. So, and that may be why he's not here tonight. Who knows? They may have finally caught up with him. It's only been, 60 years? 60 years this year, isn't it, Kate? Was it 63? 1963 to 23? Yeah, it's been 60 years. And Bilbrey's only 40-some years old. So do the math. So, like I said, I was on the volunteer fire department for 7 years in Selma. Enjoyed that. Moved to Muncie. in 2009 back to Muncie from Selma area. Lived here, work, play, all the above, you know what I mean? So back in, what was it, about 7 years ago, my dad owned a flea market. Maybe 6 years ago, he owned a flea market. They had a gentleman, well, he's been convicted of, so I guess I could say his name, Jeff Burke. Conned him out of his flea market, paid him $150,000. And then Mr. Burke turned around and sold it to the city of Muncie for $395,000. So he made a cool $250,000 off my dad. My dad was sick. He had cancer. He had dementia. And Mr. Burke took advantage of that. And so after my dad passed away, I decided I was tired of the bullshit. So I wanted to get into politics more. I ran for city council 4 years ago, was not successful. I made a couple runs at a couple different offices. I ran for county commissioner, was unsuccessful, and county council, which I was unsuccessful of. But those two things, I was just trying to get my name out there. You got to realize that the whole Delaware County right now is made of nothing but Republicans. You got the total Republican council. You got 3 commissioners that are Republicans. So with that being, go for it, Audie. With that being said, my main objective is to get on the city council for now. I think I can do a lot of good for the city. I'm very honest. People get upset about that. I don't know why people. Everybody always says we want good, honest people in there to run our local governments, and look, we want honesty and stuff. Well, I've been that way. I don't care. I make people mad, just like I've got dirty looks tonight from the chief of police. I got dirty look from the assistant chief of police, and then I got a dirty look tonight from the assistant to the assistant police chief. Or how's that go? Is he the assistant to the assistant police chief? Yeah, I think that's what it is. But got dirty looks from them. I got dirty looks from Chafing Balls, Chafing Ass, whatever his name is. So I've been in the operators union for about 8 years now. I raised my kids with the help of my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They helped me tremendously. After my first wife had passed away, my mother-in-law stepped up, and she, I wouldn't trade her for nothing. She's not in too good a health right now, but I still love her to pieces. She's a good woman. She was always been a good woman. So kudos to her. Like I said, I got in the union about 8 years ago after my kids got out of school, after I got them through school and everything. I worked around Muncie a lot, so I learned the equipment and stuff. Got in the operators union, and been in the operators union ever since. I worked 2,000, 2,100 hours a year, so that's quite a few hours. Make a pretty good living at it. But I still think that the city of Muncie, right now, we've got a bad name for the city of Muncie with the administration we've got in there now, and the people in charge, his department heads and stuff. They're really running Muncie into the ground right now. So if you pick up the newspaper, if you Google Muncie or whatever, you see all this crazy stuff that they're talking about Muncie, because nobody wants to be held accountable for it. If the mayor knows he's done something good, he'll take full responsibility for it. Oh yeah, I done that, or I done that. Or if somebody has done something good, the mayor will still, whether the mayor was involved or not, he will still try to take responsibility for it and say, yeah, that was me. I done all this. Just like his little things on Facebook says that he's put all the police department, all the policemen back on, hired all these new police officers and stuff. But that's the thing. They're limited to so many that they can have. And when they retire, then he's allowed to hire new ones, so on and so forth. So it's not really that he's put that many policemen back on the payroll. It's just some of them's retired and he's had to hire new ones. So he's kind of being a little deceiving on that. Then he runs around with all these signs in the yard, which I think is going to come out to be maybe a Hatch Act ordeal or something. And he's got this little sticker that says that all of a sudden in the last 6 months he's put on his car, it says, Dan Ridenhour, mayor of Muncie. Ooh. So that's a little campaign thing that I think he's shooting for there. And we're going to look into it and check it out. But I want to talk a little bit about the unions. Union is a good thing for most people. Most people that don't do drugs, union is a wonderful thing. Now, if you smoke marijuana and you do illegal drugs, you're going to be random drug test all the time. So usually the people that say the unions aren't any good are the people and I'm not saying marijuana is bad. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be legal. It probably should be legal. But as of right now, it is against the law to smoke and maintain marijuana. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But being in the union, you're putting yourself to drug tests, and that's usually why people say they don't want to be in the unions, because they can't pass a drug test. And I want people to know that back in the 20s and 30s, the union started out by, it's called the Davis-Bacon Act, okay? It sets the wages for people. Alcohol is legal, but you can't drink, and that's correct, Sarah. That is correct. Yes, Joe, I'm IUOE Local 103. I was a member of LIUNA 1112 for a while, and I've just recently quit paying dues there. But anyhow, the Davis-Bacon Act started back in the 30s, and it was started by Republicans. Okay, that's correct, Davis-Bacon. No, Stumblefoot, the unions do not protect chemical abusers. No. At any given time, a box fan can pull up on our jobs, and we're required. Union can turn into a mob, just like government. Yeah, it can, Jack off Jack. But that vehicle can come in at any time and piss test you right there on the job, okay? And if it shows that you have marijuana, cocaine, opioids, whatever in your system, they fire you on the spot, and you're done. And with the union, with the operators and carpenters and the laborers union, if you are removed from a job because you fail a piss test, you've got to be cleaned up, and you have to take a substance abuse course before you're allowed back in to start working again. So you got to be cleaned up for 30 days. You got to take the substance abuse course, and you got to get your business agent to sign off that you took the substance abuse course before you can get back to work. So it is a pretty big deal in the building trades and in the heavy highway that you can pass a drug test, because if you don't, you're going to be 30 to 60 days without a paycheck. That's your first offense. Your second offense, it goes a little deeper, and your third offense, and then your fourth offense, you're done completely. So when you say that the unions protect the chemical abusers, that's not true. That is not true in the unions I'm in, unions that I have been in, or the unions that I deal with. Now, I don't know about the UAWs and stuff like that. That's totally different. Just don't agree with that. That's fine. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with everything I say, delete laws. That's fine. And that's what makes us Americans. That's what makes us be able to live the Constitution we have. So back to Davis-Bacon. Davis-Bacon in the 30s was introduced by two Republicans. The Republican Party is the ones that put in the union laws to get the prevailing wage, to set the 40-hour week, work week, because back then they was working these guys 12, 15 hours a day and not compensating them for them. And they'd make them work 6, 7 days a week. And they would just straight pay them. But the unions brought in the 40-hour work week. They brought in most of the holidays. They brought in most of the 3-day weekends. That way, you know, if you don't work, the unions I'm in, we don't get paid on the holidays we don't work. If we're off Memorial Weekend, we don't get paid for that. We just get paid for the hours we work. But if we get paid, if we work, like sometimes I work Christmas, okay? So if Christmas falls on a Saturday, the Friday before Christmas is double time. The Christmas Day is time and a half, and then Sunday, of course, is double time. Now, if Christmas falls on a Sunday, then you've got Saturday time and a half, Sunday double time, and Monday double time. So they're well compensated for the work they do on the holidays, and that's a good thing, because most of these non-union factories, if they work you through the holidays, usually you just get time and a half or straight pay. Anything over 8 hours a day in the construction field, in the operators and laborers, we get overtime. So that is a good thing. If they want to work you 10 or 12 or 15 hours a day, they're going to pay you to work them hours, and they're going to pay you good money. So that's another good thing about the unions. And Saturday is always mandatory time and a half. You can have 32 hours in. And if you work Saturday, that's all time and a half. So you can have 32 regular hours and 8 hours of time and a half money. So that's a good thing too. Sundays is always double time. A lot of places don't like to work Sundays, but some places do during shutdowns for factories and stuff. So that's what that's all about. And back after World War II, something split with the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, and the Democrats started following the unions, and the Republicans started dropping back from it. So that's the reason you're getting the Republicans that don't support the unions much anymore. And like I said the other day, I wish this contract with the Muncie Police Department and Muncie Fire Department was more than a 1-year contract, because that allows Dan, if he, for some stupid reason, gets reelected, he's going to change that contract next year, and he will do everything he can to do away with them unions. I know it. I feel it. He's a Republican. That's the same thing that happened with the Republicans in the county. They don't recognize the Sheriff's Department union anymore. They don't recognize the Highway Department union anymore. So, you know, union busting, it's not a good thing. My union is, we pay our money in for our retirement. So our union controls our retirement. We don't have like a 401k. We get so many hours we work, and you pay so much into your retirement, and it's maintained at our union. So we don't have people out here. This is with the International Union of Operating Engineers. We don't have people controlling our pensions and stuff, so they can, if they go out of business, just like the factory my dad worked in. He worked at Ontario Systems in Muncie, Indiana, and you know, the company controlled the pension. And when they closed in 1989, 1990, they screwed my dad out of his pension. So, you know, that's the bad thing about letting companies control your pension, because they can. Now, Yoko, I don't agree with you. Unions are business friendly. I don't understand what you mean by that. If you'd like to elaborate, that'd be great. Just, unions aren't business friendly. I don't understand what that means because uh, I, I must have missed something. Brandon, maybe in the UAW and stuff, but I can tell you, um, Brandon asked, "Do unions protect lazy workers?" No, not in the fields not in the unions that I deal with. If you're a lazy worker, they're going to say, "Your job's done," and that's the thing about the construction field compared to a factory setting. A factory setting, you're going to go in at 7 o'clock every day. You're going to get off at 3, 5, or 7, depends on how many hours work a week you work. Unions don't allow corporations to. Correct. So in a factory, like I was saying, they know a certain time that they go in, they know a certain time they get off, and they got to do that for 30 years to get their pension. The fields that I work in, we know that when we start a job, like say the job started March 20th, we had a bridge that started March 20th out here on 32 by Lapel. We knew we had to have that done by June 20th. We had 90 days to do it. So we usually start time and an end time on our jobs. So we're not at that specific place very long. Some of them last a little longer than that. Some of them maybe a couple years. But as far as lazy workers, if you're not producing, they're going to send you home and say, "Hey, we're done with you. Your job's done." And then they're going to bring somebody out there that'll do the work. So you don't want to be lazy in the construction field because they're going to send you home and they're going to bring somebody else out there. Now, your BA can fight it, but the thing about it is, man, my hat's crooked. Either that or I'm crooked as shit. The business agents can come out. Wow, why does that look so crooked? There it is. That's straight. So the business agents can come out and say, "Hey, talk to them and try to get your job back." But as far as lazy workers, they're not really fighting for those guys. What they do fight for is, say somebody takes a prescription drug that is a narcotic and it shows up on the piss test. Well, as long as they got a prescription for it, they're permitted to work. Um, if they don't pay you right, the BAs come out and take care of that. Um, there's certain rules and regulations. Start our machine, they got to pay us 4 hours minimum, so on and so forth. And if they don't do that, then you get a hold of your BA. They usually make it right. Most companies, most foremans make it right and keep accurate time and everything. But every now and then you'll get a new guy that's a pencil pusher that thinks he's writing the checks and doesn't do it. And then you got to set him straight, and the BA comes out and takes care of it. You go on about your work, and that's it. So that's that. I don't know what else we need to talk about tonight. If anybody has any more questions, are you talking about the test you should have declared? Alva, you do not have to declare it. That is a HIPAA violation. They cannot ask you what you take. Now, what they'll do is, it's none of the people giving. Hey, Josh, I like your t-shirt. That's a great looking t-shirt. When you go in and take the test, you do not have to tell that person there that's taking the test that you are on certain meds. It's none of their damn business. If it comes back, uh, there's other ways of having to take random drug tests. You'll get this purple envelope in the mail. You got 10 days to go take the drug test. You don't have to tell them nothing. You hand them the paper, they fill it out. You take the drug test, they mail it off. And then if there's anything that comes up in your system that shows, like, say somebody's taking Vicodins, the doctor that presides over them tests will call the pharmacies and your doctor, excuse me, and so on and so forth, and they'll prove that you're on that medicine and you're permitted to take it. Now, if you don't have a prescription and stuff for it, then, of course, you're going to lose your job over it. So, see, that's correct. That's correct. Who was that said that? Said they take the FMCSA drug tests. That's correct. You don't have to disclaim that. That is your personal information. Yes, Joey, they call you and discuss that privately. And usually it's somebody in the doctor's office or the doctor himself that calls you and asks. They may ask for your prescription number. They may ask for the doctor that prescribed it, so on and so forth. And as long as everything comes back, then you're good. If you're not, they declare test positive. No, right. Exactly, Joey. Exactly. If you don't have a prescription for it and your doctor says he's never gave it to you, then you've got a positive test. You scored really high in your test, and you're going to be getting your final paycheck from these people. Cops are a union. They're supposed to, Jack off Jack. I believe there's a couple Muncie police officers that are on administrative leave over drug tests. I'm not 100% sure. Let me rephrase that. I don't know that 100% sure, so I don't need to say that. But yes, the police department do get drug tests. You don't have to be union to get them drug tests. Any company can give you a drug test. It doesn't matter if it's union or not. If they say they want a drug test from you, you've got to give them a drug test. If not, they can fire you for it. Just that simple. Stumblefoot, I don't know what unions you were in and what kind of bad taste they left in your mouth, but I don't know. Maybe next time swallow. I don't know. I don't know what 3 unions you were in, and I don't know what your circumstances was, but I've had pretty good luck with my unions. Yes, my wife is correct. Also, some of these companies out here, instead of just doing a urine test, because they know a lot of people can cheat on a urine test, they've got these little green square things that's on a stick. It's a swab. You put it in your mouth, and you got to let that fill up with saliva, and it takes 3 to 5 minutes for it to fill up with spit, saliva, whatever you want to call it, saliva, and then they test it right there on the spot, and the people doing the test that's hiring you, the human resources person, they're going to say whether you failed it or not, and then you got to explain, well, you need to send that into your doctor and let them test it for a second opinion and let them do the paperwork. So, there's other things that you do have to take, and they'll do a hair follicle test. They'll take some hair out and send that in. Some do, most don't. Some do, yes. Stumblefoot, yes. Some do, some don't. Now, has everybody seen the movie Deliverance? We're going to go back to that. I'm running out of stuff to talk about. I know we talked about the mayor and the police chiefs and all that stuff that happened over the weekend with the state trooper, and I guess I could dip into it for another 15 or 20 minutes, but I want to go back to the movie Deliverance. Kristopher this was reported to me. Like I said, Chris is on a canoeing trip. I think he went with the UFOs. Maybe went over the ice wall, but Josh said that ice wall doesn't exist. I don't know what he means by that, but is it there or isn't it there? That's a discussion that we could have. I think the earth is round, but it could be. How's that? Oh, yeah, we can talk about that road on Madison Street. I put in the records request. I guess I skipped around that a little bit. I drove down that road on Madison Street today around by the roundabout. Yes, Joey, Airing out grievances. Airing out grievances. Yeah. Chris would sink a canoe. He's a boatman. Yes, yes, he is. But he thought he would kayak down the Chattahoochee River. Wee! Squeal like a pig, Ned Beatty. So I drove down the road on Madison Street. We've had some rain. The road is starting to get quite a bit worse. It's waving more. Down on the north end of it, it's starting to sink quite a bit. And you're actually, when you go across it now, there's a bump at the end of it that, jolts you pretty good. And it's only going to get worse the more rain we get. You're out. Yes, Josh, your yard is flat. So you think. So city council ain't full time though. No, city council isn't full time. It pays a little bit. It's not much money. I think it's like $14,000 a year. It's not that much money. They had a raise 4 years ago of like just a little bit. Oh no, they can't pay me, Teresa. They can't pay me enough, and they couldn't afford me. I make a lot more money. Audie, can you tell us about what campaign events you're doing? I haven't done a whole lot of campaign events. I've been to some other events. Usually, I fund my campaigns out of my pocket. I pay it out of my pocket. I get donations from unions. That way I'm not in bed with people, and the amount of money I receive from the unions is not been over $500. I don't need a whole lot of money. I've got some leftover signs. What I do is I recycle them, I guess. I'll take and order me some stickers. I'll put over what they said before, and I'll just buy the stickers and put over and reuse the signs. That way I ain't out a whole lot. Operators make the jack. Ours make over. Joey, it just depends on how many hours a week you work, how many hours a year you work. If you work a lot of hours, if you work $2,000, $2,200, $2,400, you can make good money out of it. It's good. It's a good paying union job. I agree. So just depends on how many hours a week you work. If you can get with a company that throws the hours at you, so be it. If you get with a company that only gives you 40 hours a week, you're not going to make that, because you can do the math on that. 50 weeks a year at whatever the rate of pay is at 40 hours, and that's what it is. What was the hot air? I can't see that. Let me do something here. What was that hot air thing at the mall? The hot air balloon thing was at the Fire Up Muncie Fire Up downtown, and it was just they was going to light the balloons up at night, and but it was too windy Saturday night to do it, so we didn't get to raise the balloons up. All they did was the baskets and heated the burners up on them, but as far as raising the balloons, it was too windy, and they didn't want to get anybody hurt, so we didn't have balloons. Ours average 40, yeah, roughly, yeah. Probably right, Joey. Where are you from, Joey? But you don't know what you were talking about when it comes to Madison Street. What's that? I missed something. But you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. They say I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't do this stuff every day and make good money at it. Yeah. So Southern Indiana, what is that? 841 or is that 103 Lawrence County? What county is that? Let's see here. So you guys are probably roughly on the same pay scale. Whether unlimited support or unlimited funds, if you support, I'd rather have unlimited support. I ain't worried about the money. I'm not after the money. I'm after making things right. I want things to be done correctly, the proper procedures. Would you rather, and this is what Josh asked me, Josh Fisher, would you rather have unlimited support or unlimited funds if you had to choose when running your campaign? Unlimited support. Because I want the people to get out and vote for me. Because I want to make a difference. I want to make a change. And I can do it somewhat on the outside looking in, but I can't do it correctly unless I'm inside working for the people. Not right offhand, Alva. I don't know that person right offhand. Brandon, that job was the wheeling job should have been. Are you talking about the sewer line, the storm sewer, or the road paving, or all the above? You are an expert. What do you do? Teresa, I'm a heavy equipment operator. I do heavy highway work. I put storm sewers, sanitation sewers, water lines. I build bridges. I build roads, infrastructure. I do a lot of infrastructure work. The job, putting the storm sewer in and coming out through Ball State like they did and out to the river to drain that area, that was probably scheduled by the Muncie Sanitation District, MSD, or the MSD board, or collaboration between them and Bowen Construction, who's been in town for about 9 years now. You're probably right. The paving was done by in-house, so that was done by the city employees. I think they got 4 people on the street department that were doing those. And you got to understand, that is above their job scope. The street department is never to be intended to pave roads like that. Their job is to go out and maintain potholes, maybe do some sealing of the cracks. But as far as going out and tackling milling a road like that and putting the asphalt back in, that's above their scope, and that's actually above their scope of their job duties in the handbook that they're given when they're hired in by the city of Muncie. So they're being asked to do more work than what their job description is. Now, they are union. They're ASME union members. So their union's going to have to step up for those guys and say, hey, look, this is above our scope. The storm sewer and stuff that they run across the Amazing Joes and stuff like that, it took them quite a while to get it across there. It should have been, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most, weather pending. They should have been across that and all the way back through there. They was about 8 to 10 feet deep, which ain't very deep at all. I didn't see any major issues. There was a fiber optic line running down through there. There was maybe a water main running down through there, but that's pretty normal stuff that's in the way when you're putting storm sewers in. It's part of the job, and You've got to dig around that. A lot of times you have to dig around it and have the guys find it and dig around it, so on and so forth. But nowadays they're using vac trucks to suck it out. Oh, 20 foot deep. Yeah, I was in Indianapolis last year when I was working on the tunnel project. We was 23 feet deep in sugar sand. But around here in Muncie, you get down about 12 to 14 feet, it all turns to sugar sand, and it's a pain in the ass. And a lot of these engineers think they always have to go 25, 30 foot deep. There's no sense in that. All we want to go that deep in case something else comes through here later on. Put lift stations in. It's just as cheap to put a lift station in as it is to go in 25 feet deep. And that's crazy. It's silly. I've never seen any reason for it, but that's the way it's drawn up on the paperwork. And usually on the paperwork, it looks real good on paper, but when you go to do it, it's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, we were 23 feet in sugar sand and had to, I had a, what size was that? A 302.5 excavator. And when I say 302.5, it's a really little bitty excavator. I'm a big boy, and I was, it was pretty tight. And we was dropping it down in a hole, and I was having to dig out underneath this sewer pipe, and it was that. Yes, Joey, that's a baby. It was a little bitty one, and when they put it down there in that hole, and I was sitting on it, and I was like this, running a joystick, and my grandson could have ran it. My granddaughters could have ran it. It was a little bitty one. It wasn't much bigger than a power wheel, to be honest with you. So what do we want to talk about now? Let's see. We talked about Jeff and his doing of the hiring of the Chiefs. I've got to go down to Thomas Park. I would say Jimmy Hoffa was put in according to the guy that was involved with it, he was taken to that mortuary and he was cremated. So they'll never find his remains. That guy told that right before he died that he took him to the crematorium and had him cremated. So yeah, they'll never find Jimmy Hoffa's stuff. At least he ain't running like Dan. He is changing the subject. What do you mean? I'm not changing. So you are great guest. Well, thanks, Teresa. I hope Bilbrey thinks I'm a great guest host. I think if he wouldn't have trusted me, he never would have asked me to do it. I think he trusted me. My wife told me the other night I actually went without saying the F word, so I thought I would say it tonight. That's why I said it earlier. I just said it one time. So, in reference for Kate, we have 305 and 308 and 314s. Yeah. You get down there and down by Joey, you get down there by the Indiana state line, Indiana Kentucky line. It changes a whole lot down there because Kentucky ain't a very strong union state. Audie's holding up the show. Well, what do you want to see, Jack? Is that you licking boots? Are you a bootlicker, Jack?
No, I'm pretty sure that was a compliment. Not that you were holding up the show, but holding up the show.
Holding up the show. Okay. I didn't know.
I think that's what it means. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm sure Jack will correct me if I am.
Jack will correct us, but Jack, see, the way people write things, it could be a little deceiving about how they're going to respond to it. What you should have put, Jack, was, Audie, you're doing a damn good job holding up this show, brother. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah. Let me see if I can get my Bilbrey voice going here. We can sit here and talk all night long. That ain't a very good one, I know. Yes, I met Chris. My wife actually made me get involved with Chris 4 years ago when I ran for city council the first time. She says, "Oh, this guy from Winchester, he's really he's really being mean toward people that don't come on his show, and he really badmouthed them. And I said, well, maybe he's doing it for a reason. Maybe it's a good reason. I said, I don't know if I want to go on his show or not. She said, oh, you're running for city council. You've got to get a hold of him. You've got to get a hold of him. You don't want him bad mouthing you. I said, okay, what's his number? So I called Chris up. I said, Kristopher Bilbrey. I said, this is Audie Barber. I'm running for city council at large. He said, who? No, he didn't. But anyhow, I said, I'm running for city council at large. And he said, I know who you are. I said, I'd like to set up an interview for for my campaign. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do at-large candidates, and I was just going to do the mayor and the clerk. He said, but you know what? Maybe we'll do all of the candidates. I said, what do you got to lose? I said, I'll be more than happy to come on your show. And from that point on, me and Chris have had a pretty good relationship. There's been a few times that me and him have not got along on things, but that's awesome. That's what makes the world go round. No, nothing is in plain English, Tumblefoot. It's I'm glad you guys met. You're a good guy, Audie, and a great character. Well, thanks. If you really knew me, you would and that's the thing. A lot of people say Audie Barber's a dick. Straight up, Audie Barber's an asshole. They say that a lot about me until they get to meet me. I'm an easygoing guy, happy-go-lucky. I'm glad I take 5 blood pressure pills a day because I would be an asshole. As long as people don't cross me, I try to show them respect. I try to show people respect because that's the way I was raised. But I'm also was told that you better not start a fight, but you damn sure better finish it. That's what my dad taught me. So I try not to go out and start the fights, but I damn sure better finish it because my dad always told me, don't go out and start them, but you better finish it because if you don't finish it, I'm going to when you get home. So that's what I've always lived by. Don't go out and pushing people around unless they start pushing you first. And that's happened a lot to me in my life. I don't drink, so I don't go to the bars, which is probably a good thing because when I did go to the bars, I would just drink water and people come up and say, aren't you such and such? And I said, it just depends on who's asking. 6:45 every morning. I'm an asshole. I get up about 5:30, drive to Indianapolis every day. So yeah, it's I understand that. Yeah, what he said. Chris is a good-hearted dude. There's been many times I'd be at work or down Kentucky or whatever. We go to Kentucky quite a bit. And I'll call Chris and say, hey, Chris, I need you to, okay, I'll go do it right now. And he does. He'll run do it right over and do it. Just a really good all-around guy. As long as you treat him right, he'll treat you right. Don't lie to him. He won't lie to you. He might stretch the truth a little bit, but not when it comes to politics. No, Chris is a good guy. I love Chris to death. He could call me right now and say, hey, Audie, I need. And I would go help him out. So, a matter of fact, the other day, his grandpa took a plug out of a wall. It was a 3-way plug. It's a combo plug. And you got your 3-way switch on top. And then down here, you had a switch to the porch light. And he says, you know anything about electricity, Audie? I said, Chris, yeah, I know a little bit about electricity. He said, can you come over and look at this? And I got over there and I got to looking at the switch. I said, Chris, I think you got the wrong switch. I said, but we're going to look at this. We're going to try this switch out. But I think you got the wrong switch. So we messed around with it, kept pulling the fuse in and out. He said, you know, that's hot. I said, yeah, I know. So about an hour into it, I said, Chris, I'll be right back. Went to the electrical supply shop and got the right switch and come back, put it in. Sure enough, he had the wrong switch. So we got it fixed for him. Grandpa offered to pay me for it. I said, no, I don't want no pay. Just, it was $20 for the switch. Just give me the money for sure. Let me give you some money for coming over and do this. No, we're family. Hey, Audie, I need you to cover Bilbrey live. When? I'm covering it now. Hey, Audie, I need you to cover Bilbrey live.
No, just if he needs you, you run.
Right. You're right. Yeah, okay.
I'm expecting you'll probably be getting a phone call here from northern Georgia before long, because I don't imagine Sproles and Bilbrey in a boat are going to be
grilling like a pig. Is that you, Chris?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to tolerate each other's presence for too terribly long.
Boy, you got a purty mouth. Chris, you got a purty mouth. If you're watching this, you sure got a purty mouth, boy. That's a good thing about filling in for him. He can't just tap in and say, I'm here. So, but yeah, Chris has been a real good friend. We got real close in the last 4.5 years. And yeah, he called me and said, hey, I need you to fill in. Why, Chris? Well, I'm just going to be gone for a while. So I said, okay, I'll do it. He told me he wanted to go see Ned Beatty or something. I don't know. Okay, guys, I don't know what else to talk about. Kate, can you think of anything else? Tag, you're it. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I think we've covered about everything. I'm gonna cover something with you guys. I don't know if it may take a couple minutes to cover this, but I've been a really proud supporter of Muncie Fire Department. Fire Base EMS, since they started back 4.5 years ago, I was always talked highly of the fire department. Always talked highly and still talk highly of the fire department. So about 3 months ago, the fire department union sent me a request to do an interview. So I go in and I do the interview, and everything I thought went well. But you got to remember, this gentleman in charge of the fire union and his couple lackeys that they have there are two-faced, and they have the right to endorse candidates and support the candidates. And I haven't really talked too much about this, so we'll just get it out there tonight. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find this letter. So I did their interview. Took about 20 minutes, so on and so forth, and everything was going good. I thought I would get a letter back from them with their endorsement. Okay. Give me just a second to find this, because it's been a few months and I've got a lot of pictures in my phone here that I'm looking through to try to find this letter. And I want everybody's opinion on this letter. Is that it? Nope. Darla, do you happen to have that letter from the Muncie Fire Department Union handy? Give me just a few minutes, folks. It's a really good letter. Really, really, really awesome letter. I know I'd sent it to Chris, and I thought I'd sent it to a couple different people. It'll be worth the wait, folks. Give me just a second here. I got it. Okay, let me blow this up here. You'll have to turn that down. Okay, you'll have to turn that down because it's echoing, please. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Okay, this is dated June 13th. So, Mr. Barber, can everybody hear me okay? I want everybody's big opinion on this letter. and we'll go from there. We wanted to inform you that the local 1348 Political Action Committee representing the Muncie Fire Department has decided, and the membership has voted, to endorse other candidates for the at-large seat to the City Council. We enjoyed meeting with you during the interview process, and I believe we all agreed that you have been and are a true friend of the Muncie Fire Department. You are one of the first, and history has proven you correct, advocates for the EMS program, and for that we will always be thankful. You are also a strong advocate for the union labor, which did not go unnoticed. We feel the role you are currently serving as a strong community watchdog and advocate in the end is what's best. It was a hard decision, but considering the friends we have currently supported for this position, we felt that we needed to go in that direction. Thanks again for meeting with us, and thank you for being willing to serve your community. We wish you the best. Jason Chafin Ass, PAC Board Chairman. That's the reason I have a problem with Mr. Chafin and his two lackeys that voted for this. I don't have a problem with the Muncie Fire Department. Don't have a problem with the Muncie Fire Department. I know unions usually stick together. Just like CanPAC, I was out there tonight supporting their unions. And here's the thing. The people that they have chosen, but considering the friends we have currently supported for this position, we felt that we needed to go in a different direction. Now, their friends that they supported was 4 of the 5 candidates for at-large. At that time that I received the letter, there was 5 candidates running. There was, sounded like the dude had shit on his sleeve. Well, they supported 4 of the 5 candidates for the at-large position. So they supported 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat, and they decided they wasn't going to support me. So they wrote all these guys checks for $500 a piece. So they think I had some correspondence with Chafin, and he just felt like I could not win the at-large seat election. And he's supposed to be this big guru, and he's chafing ass. So, chafing balls. He's chafing my balls. So that's why I don't like the man. I didn't go out and start that fight. I've always been a strong supporter of the Muncie Firemen, and I continue to be a strong supporter of the Muncie Firemen. And I continue to be a strong supporter of the Muncie Police Department. That's correct, Kate. That's exactly right. I believed in the program. So I guess what I'm asking, somebody asked me earlier if I would prefer support or cash support. If there's anybody in the city of Muncie that is available to help me out, I'm asking for your vote for starters. And next week, I'm hoping to go back to knocking on doors, passing out my information to let people know who I am, and I need help door knocking. So the biggest support that I could get from anybody that lives in the city of Muncie is to maybe get with me and let's go do some door knocking and get some support from these people and get them out to vote. I know I've asked for money in the past, but right now I'm good. I've got everything I need as far as signs, literature, so on and so forth. So I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for you physically to come out and go door knocking with me. I feel that that's probably the best way of getting votes is to go door to door and letting people know. I've had a lot of good success with it in the last couple months. Had a lot of people come out and say, well, I'm going to vote for. Yes, Kate.
What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Audie?
My phone number is area code 765-744-0013. I'll put that in there.
I got it right now.
Got it? Okay.
765-744-0013.
I've had that number for about 20 years now. So once I get elected, I'm going to keep that number. So let me tell you what happened to me the other day. I've been 6-8 months without getting these telemarketer phone calls. Now I'm getting about 4 a day. So somebody signed me up for these telemarketer phone calls. And it shows, scam. Sounds like to me they want. Yes, that's exactly what they want. And I won't kiss their ass. I don't have to. Don't want to. Don't need to. And if I got a problem with somebody, I tell them. And I told Mr. Chafin that I had a problem with him. Hopefully for long. And he lied to my face at the fair. He says, "Oh, that wasn't my decision." When it comes down to it, he's the PAC chairman. It's his choice who he endorses, who he writes them checks to, and who he don't. So that's fine. I will support the Muncie Fire Department, and I will support the union. But as far as Mr. Chafin, yeah, he owed somebody some favors. But as far as Mr. Chafin, I have no use for him. And that other guy that what the hell was his name? I can't remember what his name is. He's not that important to me, but he's a worthless piece of shit too, and he knows who I'm talking about. Sounds like I need to smoke another cigarette. But anyhow, we've been an hour and 22 minutes of bullshitting and all that stuff. So, and I'm also a recovering addict. 3 years. Good job, Joey. I'm glad you are. I'm glad you can admit that you was an addict and that you're still recovering. That's fantastic, and I'm glad you're getting stuff straightened out. And folks, that's another thing. The center that Dan was pushing at the first 3 months of the year, 4 months of the year. Guess what? They ain't even touched it. It's 4 blocks away from me. They haven't even touched it. They mow the yard. That's it. So the addiction center, if they're going to do anything to it, they better get started right away because it will not be done by election time. Do we have a new king of bullshit? Well, you could have. I'm gonna give you an old saying there. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Congratulations, Josh. Danny, you're just recovering. I understand. I'm a recovering asshole, so I'm gonna give you some advice here. Just remember, you may be able to snow the snowman, but you can't blow the bullshitter. And just take that for what it is. And I know we got a lot of bullshit coming out through the city of Muncie, through the mayor, and so on and so forth. But when you folks go to vote this November 7th in Delaware County, city of Muncie, you just got to remember, Madison Street, the road's getting wet underneath. It's falling apart. It's starting to sink a lot more. The addiction center, the crisis center, it's not, they've not done nothing to it, but he just keeps giving money to his friends and allows this stuff to go on. Once again, tonight at the council meeting, Rose Selvey, Ms. Selvey, honored the police department and the fire department for their courage and their outstanding work on the mass shooting. Mayor wasn't there to see it. Deputy mayor wasn't there to see it. They have no ties to the mayor. Don't really have any ties to Muncie. He come here a few years ago for a job, so he's not from Muncie. And really, he don't give a shit about Muncie. He may say, "Oh, fun Muncie, Funcy Muncie," or whatever they call it, but when it comes down to his people, he's too scared to come to the council meetings and be there when Miss Selvey, a Republican, honored these folks tonight. And all these folks were there, and they all got a standing ovation, and everybody stood and clapped for him, but no mayor was around. So I hope you folks remember that. I don't leave when it's uncomfortable. That's not me. Because if I'm saying it, it's the truth. And if they can't handle the truth, what's the old saying from the show? If you can't handle the truth, you can't handle. How's it go? Anyhow, you know what show I'm talking about. A Few Good Men.
You want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. That's right. And that's what I say to them. You can't handle the truth, folks. And if you got beef with me, it's because I've told the truth. You can't, Casey and the Sunshine Band, you can't handle the truth. And if you can't handle the truth, you don't want me in there anyhow then. So many dreams. Yep. So, like I said, we're going to have, we're an hour and 30 minutes almost, Kate. So we've done pretty good. I think Josh and Niles is going to be on here tomorrow night, Kate. Josh and Niles, as of right now, is going to be on here tomorrow night. I think Wednesday night you're going to have Brandon or Rudd's Room or something. I want everybody to go back and watch the civic duty tonight. Check that out, because I think that's probably what he'll maybe talking about, some of that and so on and so forth. So go in and hit that like button, folks. We're getting ready to leave for the night. And like I said, my phone number's on here on this. You can get a hold of me. Hit me up on Facebook. Email me, text me, whatever. I'll be here. I'll answer your questions. And if I'll answer them truthfully. So y'all have a good night. And once again, if you spot Chris Bilbrey somewhere, take a picture of him and send it in. That way I know exactly where he's at. So, but he's fine. We'll talk to y'all later. Yeah. Now they can't hear me, can they? Can they hear me? Love them all.